defense exhibits. And we have defense exhibits number 96 through 109, which are photos that we would be offering into evidence.
Any objection?
Good to go.
So defense 96 through 109 will be admitted.
We also have defense exhibits number 110 through 114.
Any objection to those?
We're good, Your Honor.
110 through 114 are admitted.
Actually, no, I think you had the objection to 114.
Oh, I had one objection, 114, so 110 through 113.
Okay.
110 through 113, no objection, and we would offer 114 for record purposes.
Any objection for purposes of the record?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 114 is admitted for purposes of the record.
All right.
We ready?
We ready.
Let's go.
You want to keep your license and we appreciate
You
it.
want a piece of bubble gum or something?
Everyone may be seated. We are ready to proceed, ladies and gentlemen. This witness has been previously sworn to testify truthfully. Can all of the members of the jury see the witness? Okay, all right, very good. Ms. Anderson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was organized and then I sat down. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Okay,
You a little nervous?
a little bit.
Well,
Can all of the members of the jury hear the witness? Okay, all right.
And if you'll just keep your voice up for us, that would be great, okay?
Okay.
Please introduce yourself to the jury. And we're just gonna use first names.
Okay. Jacqueline?
And do you also go by Jackie?
Oh, yes.
Do,
Jackie,
is it okay if I call you Jackie?
please.
Okay. Well, Jackie, how are you, or how do you know Athena Horner?
He is my grandson.
Jackie, are you currently employed?
No.
When you were working, what were you doing?
Well, I worked at Albertsons and a barber.
Now, I see that you were in a wheelchair. Are you medically disabled?
Yes, multiple sclerosis.
Do you have a disability status for your multiple sclerosis? Are you receiving Social Security
Oh,
benefits?
yes.
Jackie, I want to talk to you a little bit about your family. Do you have any siblings?
Yes.
How many did you have?
4 brothers and a sister.
Are they all still alive?
Just one.
Do you have any children?
Yes.
Is that Tanner's mom?
Yes.
How many grandchildren do you have?
2.
Jackie, I want to talk a little bit about your family and the way you grew up, okay?
Okay.
When you were growing up, was your father, was he verbally abusive to you or any of your siblings?
Yes.
How so?
He just always was. He's an alcoholic. And,
What would he do?
well, he just complained constantly. If he showed up for dinner, he would complain.
Would he ever yell at you?
Oh, yeah,
Would he ever call you names?
yeah,
Would he do this in front of your family?
oh, yeah.
Would he do this in front of other people?
No, sometimes he put on his act when we had family around or friends. He acted like he liked us.
But once those friends left,
Yeah,
did his true colors show?
yeah.
Was he ever physically abusive to you?
He was, but not as much me as it was my brothers.
Did you see him being abusive to your brothers?
Yes.
What would he do?
Well, he would just start, you know, there was a lot of yelling. I mean, that's been a long time ago. I just know he'd get that belt and just keep hitting him, because he'd gone to the beach and,
Was he supposed to go to the beach?
no,
Jackie, was there any sexual abuse in your home?
yes,
Were you the victim of abuse as a child?
yes.
And I don't want to go into any details about it, but how old were you when you were being abused?
Very little.
How often would this abuse occur?
Too often?
Is any time too often?
Yes.
How long did this go on?
You know, for years that I could remember, because, you know, I never told my mother, and it's just something you didn't talk about. And you didn't talk about the alcoholism in my family.
And if you didn't talk about the alcoholism, were you going to talk about sexual abuse?
Oh, no.
Were you the only child in that household that was abused?
No, my sister as well.
Did you or your sister ever tell anybody what was going on?
No. Well, we told my mother once when we were about 12 and 13.
And how did that go?
He was mad. Why didn't you tell me earlier?
Did it stop after that?
Oh, yeah. It had been stopped by then. And
Jackie, did you ever get counseling to help you deal with what happened?
yes, I did.
And when you went to go see the doctor, were you diagnosed with anything? Do you have any mental health diagnosis?
Well, depression, some PTSD, which that's a thing that I didn't realize it was.
And do you still live with all of that?
Yeah, but I understand it more.
Jackie, I want to talk about your brothers and sisters for a minute, okay?
Okay.
Did any of your brothers and sisters suffer from any mental illness?
Yes,
Were there any suicide attempts amongst your siblings?
yes.
How many of your brothers and sisters were successful in killing themselves?
My sister and my youngest brother.
So that's 2 out of how many children?
6.
You mentioned alcoholism with your father. Did any of your siblings have any alcohol or substance abuse problems?
Yes.
What kind of
Everybody has that problem.
Everybody has that problem. What kind of, what did you mean by everybody has that
In
problem?
my, the alcoholism,
And what about the substance abuse?
yeah, that too.
And Jackie, how far did you go to school?
10th grade,
Or why'd you drop out?
I was pregnant,
And how old were you at the time?
15,
Who were you pregnant with?
Melissa.
At any time did you go back and get your GED?
I did.
And why'd you go get your GED?
Because I dropped out so early, and back then people had said, well, if you don't get your GED, it'd be hard for me to get a job. And I had to have it to get my barber's license.
When did you get your barber's license?
1976.
How long did you work as a barber?
40 years,
Do you like it?
yeah.
Why'd you stop being a barber?
Well, because I need something that had benefits, and Albertsons had that.
And so you went to work for Albertson?
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you dropped out because you had become pregnant. Was this your first pregnancy?
Yes,
Were you surprised when you were pregnant?
yes.
Did you tell your parents?
I told my mom,
Did you tell your parents? You told your mom?
yes.
What was her reaction when you told her?
Oh, Jacqueline,
Was she supportive?
she was.
Did you ever consider terminating your pregnancy?
Yes,
Did you ever try to terminate that pregnancy?
yes.
What happened?
Um, like what?
Well, tell me, how did you go from having the idea to terminate the pregnancy to trying to terminate the pregnancy?
Well, my mother knew a doctor, and went to her house, and she said she was doing an abortion on me, which I didn't realize anything except that I knew I wouldn't be pregnant anymore.
Well, whose idea was it to terminate the pregnancy?
Well, it was mine and my mother's.
And your mother is the one that took you to the doctor?
Yes.
So after your mother took you to the doctor to try to terminate the pregnancy, I guess the question I have is, was the abortion successful?
No.
How old, well, were you able to carry that child to term?
Yes.
And how old were you when your daughter was born?
I turned 16 the day after I had her.
Did you have a difficult birth?
No,
Any complications?
no.
Were you worried because of the failed abortion attempt?
Well, I was real worried.
But instead you had a healthy baby girl?
Yes.
You had pressure on her?
Yes.
And actually, Jackie, I'm going to hand you what has already been admitted as Defense Exhibits 96 through 109. Okay, so I'm just gonna let you hold on to those because I'm gonna put them up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay. defense exhibit number 96. Who is that? Is that you and your daughter?
Yep.
Jackie, where was your daughter's father throughout all of this?
Well, we were together, except not living together, but with, he was at his parents' house and I was with my mom's house.
So, did you two ever get married?
Yes.
And how long were you married?
About 3 years.
How old was your daughter when you divorced?
3. About 2.5 or 3.
Were you and her father married before or after you gave birth?
Before.
So you found out you were married, we had the attempted termination, and then you got married and then gave birth?
Yes, well,
And was this all before the age of 16?
yes.
Did your daughter's father ever pay child support for her after y'all separated and divorced?
No.
How did you support your daughter?
I worked normally 2 jobs.
And what kind of jobs did you have at that time?
I'd be a waitress, and then I was a shampoo girl for like 4 years before I decided to go to Pawpaw College.
Jackie, I want to move on a little bit, and I want to talk about your second husband. Now, did the two of you live together before you married?
Yes.
At the time you moved in together, did you have any concerns about your boyfriend and your daughter?
No, not at the time.
So when y'all moved in together, you thought everything was A-okay?
Yeah. Newly in love.
Before he moved in, did your daughter ever tell you that your boyfriend had sexually abused her?
Yes, she did.
And this was before you were married? And even though your daughter had told you about this incident, did you marry him anyway?
Yes, I did.
After he had moved in and y'all had gotten married, do you ever remember an occasion where your daughter had put a sign on her door?
Yes.
Did you remember what that sign said?
Something like, it was a big poster that she had on her bedroom door that said, who's ever coming in at my room at night, please stop.
At the time, did you know what that meant?
No, I mean, I automatically thought, oh, it must be a stepbrother, because he had the bedroom next door to the girls. And,
Do you know what it means now?
oh yeah,
Or what does it mean, or what did that sign mean?
that her stepdad was coming in there at night. She had told the school.
Well, that was my next question. Did she ever tell anybody about that?
Yes. But she tried to tell, she told me the first time it ever happened, and I didn't believe her. And how could I not believe a 4-year-old? That's all on me, and I live with that still. 4-year-olds don't lie.
Now, Jackie, did CPS or law enforcement ever get involved after
Yes.
she had told what had happened? And what happened after CPS and law enforcement got involved?
First they had opened a case and talked to each one of us, and
Was anyone ever arrested?
no,
Was anyone ever prosecuted?
no.
Did you and your second husband eventually divorce?
Yes.
Now, Jackie, I want to flash forward some more, and I want to jump to a time when Melissa, or your daughter, was married or dating Tanner's father. Did you ever meet Tanner's father?
Yes.
Was he older than Melissa?
Yes.
And how much older was he than your daughter?
Well, I was never real sure of his age, but, you know, I think he was at least 10 years older.
What was their relationship like?
Toxic.
Why do you say the relationship?
Oh, they just
was-
fought all the time.
They fought all the time? Did you ever see them fighting?
No, I mean, no, I can't say that. You got- Melissa would just tell me they had a big fight.
Do you know if he was physically abusive to her?
Yes.
Did you ever see her with bruises?
No, I can't say I saw any bruises, but he was abusive to her.
While Melissa and Terry were married, did she become pregnant with Tanner?
Yes.
Was this her first pregnancy?
Yes.
The one with Tanner was her first pregnancy?
Yes.
Did she seem happy about becoming a mother?
Yes. She was very excited.
What do you mean by very excited?
Oh, she was just happy. She was happy to have a baby.
At the time she became pregnant with Tanner, was she working?
Yes.
And after she gave birth, did she go back to her job?
Yes.
When she had gone back to working, how old was Tanner? If you can remember.
Year old?
A year old?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
When Melissa was working, who kept Tanner?
I did a lot.
Where was his father at this time?
I don't know.
When Tanner was a little boy, how did you feel about taking on so much responsibility with him?
I was okay with it. I loved him. He's my first grandkid, and I figured I could do better with him than I did being a mother for the first time, because I was so young that I had a little experience by the time he came.
I'm going to show you Defense Exhibit number 97. Who is this?
It's Tanner. And the rocking chair my mother made for him.
Your mother made that for him?
Mm-hmm. But she painted it all.
What was painted on that?
Just something boyish. I don't
Something
remember.
boyish. I'm gonna show you defense exhibit number 98. Who is that?
It's me and Tanner.
About how old is he here?
He looks like he's about 2.
I see that big smile on your face. Were you happy to keep him?
Yeah.
He bring you lots of joy?
He did, he did.
And defense exhibit number 99. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
What's going on in this picture?
Oh, we were just in the front yard, walking around, and he always would pick those up and blow on it. So it, until it was empty.
Jackie, when Melissa had gone back to work, well, let me back up. At the time that, before Melissa became pregnant with Tanner, do you know if she was using drugs?
Before she went back to work?
No, before she was pregnant.
I can't say, nothing that I saw.
Did you ever see her use drugs?
No.
Did you ever see her use drugs after the birth of Tanner?
No.
Have you ever seen your daughter under the influence of drugs?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What was her behavior like when she was using drugs?
Maybe red eyes.
And how did she behave?
Well, she was happy, and then, she was at work and would come home and see Tanner. I mean, she was as happy as can be.
Then what makes you think that she was under the influence of drugs at the time?
Well, because she came home from work.
Now, Jackie, has your daughter ever overdosed from drugs?
Not that I've seen.
Has she ever required medical attention for her drug use?
Yeah, she's been to rehabs.
So I'm going to show you defense exhibit number 100. Do you remember this?
Yep. I was at a rehab.
How often did Melissa have to go to rehabs?
She's been several times. And always wanted to go because she knew she needed it. She just really struggled.
You said that she'd gone several times. When you say several times, is that more than 4 times?
I don't recall, but that sounds good.
And this photo, defense exhibit number 100, was that taken in one of the rehab facilities?
I'm sorry, what?
Defense exhibit number 100, was that taken in one of the rehab
Yes.
facilities?
Yes.
How many times did you have to go visit with her in a rehab facility?
Several times.
And you said she had struggles with the drugs. What kind of struggles did she have?
I don't know, just doing them, it was not a good thing, and she knew it wasn't, but she had a hard time kicking the habit. And,
And was she using heroin at the time?
yes,
Do you recall an incident where she had taken heroin and fell asleep on the toilet?
I think I've heard that.
But do you remember when Tanner had to come get you and bring you into the bathroom and show you his mother who had passed out on the toilet?
You know, I don't remember that. I heard about it after, but I don't remember when it happened.
And is that something that well, one moment. Did your daughter ever have mood swings?
Yes.
Did she ever have act paranoid?
Yes.
When did you first started noticing, the paranoia and the mood swings?
Probably when she was a lot younger than when she first started using, and she just always, I think it's because she's bipolar, and I think it started happening early in her age.
And so your daughter's bipolar?
Yes.
Do you know if she sought any sort of medical treatment for her mental health?
Yes, she did.
How'd that work for her?
Well, I mean, they gave her information, and she gave her the information, and she would tell me what they, like, what else she was diagnosed with that, and, you know, she needed to go to counseling and probably get on medicine, in which she had tried, and she didn't like the feel of it.
And Jackie, do you love your daughter?
Yes, I do.
Are these questions hard for you to answer?
Yes.
I want to talk to you about your daughter's, well, let me back up. Did she ever divorce Tanner's father?
No, they never got a divorce.
But did they separate at some point?
Yes.
And did she become involved with another man?
Yes.
Did she have a child with that man?
Yes.
All right, so I want to talk to you about your other grandson.
Okay.
How did Tanner react when he found out that he was going to be a big brother?
Oh, he was very excited. Very excited.
What made you think that he was excited?
Well, he was just always, you know, he just couldn't wait till the baby was born, and the day she went into labor, they were at the hospital, and we went and stopped by McDonald's to get something to eat, which he liked going there, and we sat there and ate, and then he threw up. He was so excited. I mean, he just all over the place. He was so excited he threw up. And I just spent money on that meal.
How old was Tanner when he found out he was gonna be a big brother?
Well, he was either 9 or 10. He was 10 when he was born, so.
I'm gonna show you what is defense exhibit number 101. Is that Tanner and his little brother?
Yeah.
What do you think about when you see that photo?
Just how the innocence, how little they were, and how precious that picture is.
Does it make you happy to see that photo?
It does.
Now, defense exhibit number 102. Is this a picture of your daughter and her 2 sons?
Yes.
Approximately how old is Tanner at the time?
Probably 11.
Is that his little brother in the high chair? Now, I want to fast forward again. I want to talk about you again. And I want to talk about your marriage to Bill. Your husband, is that your third husband?
Yes.
Okay. Your third husband, Bill, was he in the military?
Yes.
Do you remember what branch?
Army.
Do you know if he had ever been deployed?
Yes.
Where was he deployed?
Well, he went several places, but he was in Vietnam.
Do you know what he did for the Army in Vietnam?
Well, several things he did, but the longest thing he did was he was a tunnel rat.
What's a tunnel rat?
Well, they go underneath in a tunnel and scope out the place, you know. I guess set traps.
Are they
He
looking
didn't
for
always
booty-
talk about it, but,
Oh.
yeah, it is something that most people wouldn't want to do. Go into the unknown.
Was he looking for booby traps?
Yeah.
Was that a dangerous assignment?
Yeah. I think so.
When he retired from the military, did he receive any disability benefits from the VA?
Yes.
Would you describe Bill as a paranoid person?
Yes.
What would he do that would make you think he was paranoid?
Well, he was always, you know, always trying to find something wrong.
Or what do you mean trying to find something wrong?
Well, just in daily life, he would just nitpick things, and he was angry.
He was angry? Now, would he ever sneak around the house or sneak up on people?
Well, oh yeah, I'm sure he's done that. People like to sneak up on me because I scare easy.
You had said and described Bill as an angry person. Did he have a bad temper?
Yes.
Well, why do you say he had a bad temper?
Well, he displayed it all the time. He just didn't have much patience, and he would just get, he was always mad about something, and if it didn't go his way, it was nobody's way, and he'd just get mad.
What would he do when he got angry?
Oh, wondered that too. Many times.
And when he got angry, what would he do? I mean, would he yell? Would he throw things? What?
Well, yeah, he would yell. That was always a big one. Or not talk to me for weeks.
When Tanner was young, did he and his mom move around a lot?
Yes. Well, it depends what a lot is.
Well, in your opinion, was it a lot?
Well, no, I'm gonna say not so much. They did live in several places, but when, Melissa and I had discussed that we were gonna, because where she was at that time in her life, she thought it would be a good idea that he come stay with us, my husband and I. Where she knows he would be safe and
How old was he when he came to, how old was Tanner when he came to live with you?
I'm gonna say probably about 3 or 4.
Do you think that Melissa letting Tanner come to stay with you was her way of trying to give him a better life?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what she said, Mom, because I'm not doing the right thing and I know it. She just wanted to, she knew he'd be safe with us.
She's trying to look out for him?
Oh yeah,
That she knew that,
he was safe and she always worried, she always wanted him to be okay. But he didn't have that many babysitters, you know, we were babysitters. And she just didn't trust very many people.
Jackie, what kind of things did you do for Tanner when he came to live with you?
We go to parks, we went to movies, a lot of Disney movies. We, you know, had to plan those movies, or anything time we went somewhere, we had to plan it, because he couldn't handle spur of the moment stuff. So I had to make sure he knew, like, days in advance that what we're gonna go do. And,
Oh, go ahead.
and then, we go to the zoo.
When you said that he didn't like spur of the moment, what do you mean by that?
It was too quick of a decision. I mean, I'd have to plant the seed and he'd have to think on it, I guess. That's what ended up working better, especially, you know. That all started with doctor's appointments, that he got to where he handled that, and he knew that I would remind him every day of something that we had planned.
Did it work better for him to know in advance?
Yes.
Did it work better for you to know in
Yes.
advance?
Yeah, he would, yeah.
When you and Tanner would go to these Disney movies and plan these outings, do you remember about how old he was when all of that started?
Will you repeat that, please?
When Tanner moved in, about how old was he?
I'm gonna say probably about 6, 7.
Did you enroll him in school?
Yes. I first enrolled him in daycare. So, because I worked.
How old was he when you, if you recall, when you enrolled him in daycare? Was it before he started elementary school?
Yes.
While he was at daycare, did you ever watch him with the other kids?
Yeah.
Did you ever see him, behave in a way that made you think that he was a little different?
Yeah, happens quite often, but I walked in once to pick him up from school, and I got off work, and he was playing with some kind of little game they had at the daycare, and this little kid, he was playing by himself, and that's how he liked playing by himself. And this little kid said, "Here, let me help," or something to that extent, wanted to play too. And Tanner said, "No, you can't, and then he just turned away and not respond anymore. He just, no. And whoever that was, that little kid just said that, "You're weird," or there was always a comment about that he was weird, awkward, different.
And these are things that you've heard these kids
Oh,
say?
yeah. Yeah.
That time that you saw of him pushing the other child away or turning his back on the other child, was that the only time you saw that kind of behavior?
Oh, no, I've seen it many times. I've seen that, he's in Boy Scouts, and I go to the meetings with him, and they have them, and there are several boys that kind of were making fun of him, and I'm not sure, I don't remember what it was all about, but they started just giving him a hard time on, yeah, I don't remember exactly, but they were making fun of him.
No,
And-
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, in Defense Exhibit 106 is, what is that?
He's getting some kind of a award for Cub Scouts.
So was this taken when he was,
Yeah.
and, when you would watch Tanner at daycare, could you notice a difference between his behavior and the other children's behavior?
Yes.
Did you see that same behavior when Tanner was at home?
Yes.
At some point, did you ever take Tanner, or was it suggested that Tanner go be tested?
Yes.
Did Melissa take him to get tested?
Yes, she did. She was all on top of that because we knew there was just someone connecting.
What was Tanner's diagnosis when you went to go get him tested? What was the diagnosis?
Well, he had ADHD and Asperger syndrome from the Child Study Center.
How did you feel when you found out that he had a diagnosis?
Relieved that we know it was something instead of what could it be.
Was Melissa relieved as well?
Yes.
How did Bill respond to the diagnosis of Asperger's.
He didn't say a whole lot. He just, through the years, he'd just say, we'd say, well, part of his Asperger's, and, you know, people just think that's an excuse for his behavior, and he'd say, you know, there ain't nothing wrong with that boy. Even a lot of times it was very obvious there was something wrong.
Did you or Melissa treat Tanner any differently because of his diagnosis?
Maybe a little more protective. 'Cause we just felt sorry for him, because he didn't have any friends, and nobody wanted to have anything to do with him.
When you say that you were protective of him, how were you protective of him?
Him getting bullied, as he didn't always show that it bothered him, and it bothered him.
Were you there to support him?
Yes.
Because of his Asperger's diagnosis, were you able to get any Social Security benefits?
Yes.
How old was he, if you recall, when he first started to get benefits?
Gosh, I really don't remember. I want to say maybe 14.
Now, Jackie, I want to talk about Tanner's time in school, okay? I want to show you what has been offered as Defendant's Exhibit 103. Now, do you recall that photo?
Yeah.
And about how old was Tanner there?
He looks about 3 or maybe 4.
What about Defense Exhibit 104? Remember about what grade he was in there?
Could that have been the 4th grade?
Now, Jackie, when Tanner was in school, did he receive any special education classes?
Yes.
Do you know why he was in special education?
For his Asperger's, and it's kind of like a guideline on, because, you know, he would always speak out, you know, and to get his behavior under control. That would help, but they kind of would just kind of teach him, you know, right, wrong, numbers, because he never did real good in school, and I never understood why he didn't, because he's very smart. But, it was just, they were like a support group, and they always had his back on the difficulty of being in school and all the bullies he would face.
When you say they, are you talking about his teachers and
Yes.
his providers? Did you and Melissa attend any of his, what they call the ARD meetings, of the special
Yeah.
education meetings? What were those like?
They would just give us information on how he's doing, and what they're working on, how he progressed or he didn't in certain areas.
Based on these ARD meetings, did Tanner have any special kind of services?
Well, yeah, they would send trying to think what they call it. A special teacher out, and they go out to dinner or go to the store, and how to interacting with people, manners.
Did those meetings with that person seem to help Tanner?
It did. Until, it was time that she just didn't come anymore. And we needed to pick up the slack, and we probably did for a little while.
Were you able to continue that?
Well, we did a little bit, but some of it was stuff that, like his manners, we were always big on manners. So no, we didn't follow through all the way.
How did Tanner react when he stopped having these meetings with his teacher?
Well, I think he kind of missed it because he looked forward to having that time of just something different besides the people at home, he looked forward to it.
Now, Jackie, you talked before about Tanner being bullied in school and having to deal with other bullies. Is Tanner a friendly person?
Oh, yeah.
Is he outgoing?
Yep, sometimes he's not, but most, yeah,
Do he like to talk a lot?
yes,
Does he still like to talk a lot?
yes.
When he was in school, did you ever see him trying to make friends with the other students?
Oh, yeah.
Was he able to?
Well, there might have been a few, but, once they start talking to him, they would kind of, and kind of back off.
I think the words you used before were weirdo and awkward.
Yeah, because, it was awkward. It was awkward. It's awkward for an adult to feel awkward talking to a kid.
How did Tanner take it when these other kids would start calling him names?
He just, oh, it's okay, Mimi. I'm used to it.
He called you Mimi?
Yeah.
And how did you feel when he said those things to you?
I hurt for him. Painful.
Was this the only time that seeing those kids call him names and hearing the names that he was called, was that the only time that you saw Tanner being bullied?
Not,
Do you recall an incident at a wrestling match?
oh yeah.
Tell us about that. What happened?
The wrestling match was over, and Tanner was walking in front of me, going to get a drink, and some guy that had been wrestling too walked up next to him and just kind of, hey, you punk, you weirdo, or what are you doing? You're not going to do, just all kinds of put downs to him. And he didn't know who I was, but I said, why are you talking to him like that? Because he realized there was somebody with him. But that just came out of nowhere. He just ran up there and started bad-mouthing him. And then again, he tries to make me feel okay about what happened.
So even though Tanner is the one that is being bullied, he's trying to comfort you?
Yeah, I mean, he,
Jackie, in spite of all of the issues that Tanner had in high school and in elementary school and in middle school, was he able to graduate from high school?
yes, he was. And he is so proud. I was so proud for him.
Was he the first person in your family to actually graduate from high school?
Yes, he was. That was a big accomplishment.
I'm going to show you what is, I believe, Defense Exhibit 107. Is that a copy of his high school announcement?
Yes.
So it was, other than the fact that he was the first person to graduate, was the fact that he graduated a big deal for your family?
Yes.
And why was it a big deal
Well,
for
I
you?
mean, because he graduated, that wasn't a real popular thing in my family or his dad's side of the family. I don't think anybody else had graduated. And he just wanted to, you know, make his parents proud.
Was that important to him?
Well, yeah. Because he wanted to be the only one to do that.
Do you have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
May we approach?
Uh-huh.
I see that big smile on your face, Jackie. Why are you smiling?
Well, that's his diploma that they handed him, walking across that stage.
Now, Jackie, I want to talk about, Tanner's musical abilities. Tell us about that. Was Tanner a musical guy?
Yes, the drummer.
Where did he get his first set of drums?
I mean, his pawpaw bought it for his 16th birthday.
When you say Pawpaw, who are you talking about?
Oh, Bill.
His grandfather?
Yes.
Well, why'd y'all give him the drums?
Because he always went around all the time. And he thought he could put that to use. And he did.
Was he a good drummer?
Yeah, he was.
Did he take lessons?
No.
Did he play any other kinds of instruments?
He played the bass. Probably a couple other things that I don't know what it is.
Now, Jackie, Jackie, you mentioned that you and Bill got him the drum set. I want to talk a little bit about Bill and Tanner's relationship. Was your husband the authority figure in the house?
Yes.
How did he show his authority?
By being demanding, overbearing a lot of times, and he wants to like get a point across that wasn't, see. He's got angry a lot, and sometimes that's how he just kind of bully his way into, this is what you do. For instance, go out and mow the yard, Tanner. And he'd never showed him how to mow the yard, and he'd get out there and just do it either way. And then, you know, why didn't you use your head? You know, do I have to show you everything? It's just little things that he thought would have been easy for him. And then when things weren't going exactly how he thought it should be, you know, it was always a problem.
Were there some things that it took Tanner a little while longer to catch on to?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of things?
Pardon me?
What kind of things?
I'm not sure, I cannot remember everything, and right now I can't, except the one thing I remember is, Bill had gotten really mad at Tanner. And he went back there to his room and just, you know, started complaining to him. And he came back up and he said, you know, I've had it with him. I'm going to get that stick that I told you about, and I'm going to take him down. And he actually said, I didn't actually believe him at first.
Okay, now Jackie, I'm gonna stop you right there for a minute because we had a lot of he's and hims. And I wanna make sure that the jury understands who we're talking about, okay?
Yeah.
You said that he went back to his room. Who went back to whose room?
Bill went back to Tanner's room.
Had they had an argument before?
Yes, but I had not heard about it. Or if I did, it'd been days or weeks.
And you mentioned something about a stick. Tell us about the stick.
It was kind of like a dowel rod, kind of like, but it was about this big, long, about this big around.
Is that the stick that you're referring to on Defense Exhibit number 109?
Yes.
What did Bill do with that stick?
He told Tanner, stand still. Just stand still. And Tanner's just standing there, yeah. After I'd already told him, I said, Tanner, you need to leave because he's mad. He said, I said, you need to leave because he's mad. And he said, Pawpaw wouldn't hurt me. Well, so he stood there and he acted like he's playing baseball and got that big stick and just swung it at him and hit him across his chest and stomach area. I mean, and it just happened so quick, and he just fell down like, you know, he's a big guy. I'm surprised that he went down like that.
So, Bill hit, I mean, he said that he took it like a baseball.
Oh, yeah.
bat, and he swung and hit Tanner with that stick that's in Defense Exhibit 109.
Yes.
When you say that Tanner went down, what do you mean he went
I
down?
mean, he did, he just went down like a rag doll.
Were you afraid?
Oh, yeah.
That, oh, go ahead.
It was terrible. I mean, it was like a movie. It was terrible.
Was that something that you would have ever expected from him?
No. No. And neither would he. It shocked Tanner. He couldn't believe it.
What did Tanner do after Bill had hit him with that stick?
You know, he was crying, went back to his room, and came back about 15 or 20 minutes later, bleeding everywhere. He cut his arm, and it was just, the blood was just pouring out. And Bill saw it, he said, well, I guess you ought to take him to the hospital. And I did.
Did Bill seem concerned at all?
No.
What happened when you took him to the hospital?
Well, he went in and they looked at it and got, I don't remember how many stitches, but at least 10. And
Jackie, in spite of the bullying by Bill, and in spite of being hit, did Tanner still love his pawpaw?
yeah, he did, but I think that may have, I think that made him think twice about him, you know?
And when Bill passed away, how did that affect Tanner?
He was very sad.
Jackie, I want to talk to you about your grandchild.
Okay. My great-grand?
I'm sorry, your great-grand, that's right. How old, are you, do you know the mother of
Yes.
your great-grandchild? And again, we're not going to go into names.
Okay.
And we aren't going to talk about the name of your great-grandchild either. But were Tanner and the mother together when the child was born? Were they still dating?
Yes.
How did Tanner react when he found out that he was going to be a father?
Oh, he was real excited.
Did he seem to enjoy being a dad?
Yes.
What kinds of things would Tanner do with his son?
I mean, just play with him and hold him and feed him, change the diaper. You know, I wasn't around a whole lot right then, but he took good care of him.
Did he like to show his son off to other people?
Oh, yeah. Bring a grin to his face.
May I approach your honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Jackie, I'm going to show you what has been already admitted into evidence as defense exhibits number 106 to 108. Would you take a look at those? And I see you smiling again. Why are you smiling?
Pictures.
That's it. What is it? Oh, those are the only three.
Oh, I'm gonna make one out of it.
What is it about these pictures that is making you smile?
Well, because Tanner was so happy and that little baby. So cute.
What does it make you feel like when you see these pictures?
Well, of course it makes me feel proud. I mean, it's sad that, you know, he'll never be a daddy that he wanted to be. But he got a little guy to be proud of.
May I publish to the jury?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Jackie, you know why we're here, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You know that your grandson has pled guilty to kidnapping and killing Athena Strand.
Yes.
I want to talk to you about the time leading up to that horrible day, okay? In the weeks leading up to this incident, based on your observations of Tanner, did he appear to be under a lot of stress at that time?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you say that?
Well, they've been staying with, the other grandmother, and, they came over after they had some kind of a disagreement, and he was just, he'd just gotten another job, and he was nervous about that, nervous about being inside, being at the house, and Cassie being, she just always wanted to do something. He'd be at work all day, and then she would be there all day, and then she'd want to, go out and do things and eat and, spend money or whatever. And it was getting to him because he wasn't getting good sleep because he'd end up staying up too late, and he was just stressed out. And I just want to add one thing is, he had told me that, I don't remember what day it was, but he said, I made an appointment with the doctor to get back on that medicine. I was so proud that he said that. And I thought, wow, he's really maturing. Because he figured that out by himself. So that, just all, and you could just tell he was stressed because he was so snappy and kind of shaky.
We've been talking a lot about the hard time that Tanner's had in his life. And what I want to do is I want to talk about some of the good things. Now, the defense's exhibits with pictures of Tanner and his son. Would you consider that some of the good things in his life?
Yes.
Do you think that you and Tanner have a close relationship?
Yes.
Before this all happened, would y'all do a lot of things together?
Well, probably not as much, since he, had a baby and all that and involved, but he had not been living at the house for a while. And, we've always had that closeness.
Did you and Tanner, while he was growing up, did y'all attend church together?
Yes.
How long did y'all attend church together?
How long? I started going in 2002. My mother had just passed away, and he had said, Mimi, I want to start going to church. And I had been wanting to get back to church. And we visited a few churches, and then we ended up finding Outreach of Love or Legacy Church. And we went there and we loved it, and we stayed for 20 years.
At some point, did Tanner step away from the church?
Yes. After he started with the drums and then talking about getting a band, working and having a car, just
Since his arrest, has he gone back to the Bible and gone back to church?
yes. Yeah, I bought him a Bible that I looked online. Yeah. the Old Testament and the New One, all in one book.
May I approach your honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Jackie, I'm going to show you what has been admitted into evidence, defense exhibits 110, 111, 112, and 113. Is that the Bible you bought, Tanner?
Yep. That's a thick one.
Oh, that's the one thing.
Taking notes.
How does it make you feel to see that he's been taking notes in his Bible?
I think it's good. It's very good.
Can I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Jackie, I'm almost done. What I wanted to ask you is, what is your happiest memory of your grandson?
Well, there's probably several. This is in the 4th grade. And they had a talent show. And he He's saying who let the dogs out. He did this whole thing, did the whole dance and everything. And kind of surprised me that he did that all on his own, but he did.
And defense exhibit number 113 is that a picture of that talent show?
Yeah.
Jackie, how has all of this affected and impacted you and your family?
Horrific. I mean, we're just devastated. And I'm so sorry for Athena's parents. More than you'll ever know. We think about you every day, and I pray for you every day. I feel like there's nothing I can say to make anything better, and I'm sure there's not. I just want you to know that I have not forgotten you or your daughter. Every day we think about her. And you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll pass the witness.
Cross-examination.
Yeah, briefly, Your Honor.
This stick incident that we talked about with a picture of the stick on there,
Yes.
how old was Tanner when that happened?
Gosh. 25 maybe?
So he was, and I didn't get that before, he wasn't like a little kid or something, was he?
No.
He was a grown man when that happened,
Yes.
in his 20s. All right. Now, make sure. It sounds like, ma'am, I just, it sounds like throughout your entire life, you have worked hard despite your struggles. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
It seems like to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you did the best of what you could with what you had. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And I bet you today, if that wheelchair didn't have you bound up there, you'd still be working today, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
No matter what got you down, or no matter what happened, you were still gonna do the best you could, right?
Yes.
Now, from the time that Mr. Horner was born, what I'm getting the impression of is that you've always been there for him, haven't you?
Yes.
And even all the problems with his mother and everything going on in the house, you were still working and you were still taking care of him, weren't you?
Yes.
And it sounds like, to me, you were pretty much his mom.
Well, I was Mimi.
But you fed him, right? You clothed him. Is that right?
Yes.
Put a roof over his head.
Yes.
Even into his 30s, when he was struggling, you still put a roof over his head.
Yes.
And I'm betting you still cooked for him, even in his 30s, when he was there at your place.
I would, but he's a good cook.
Okay. But you were still helping him even into his 30s, right?
Yes.
And all the things that we're talking about, you showed up and you were the one there every time for him, right?
I believe so.
And as part of that, You taught him how to behave, right?
Try to redirect it to something more positive.
Right. I'm guessing you tried to show him some work ethic,
Yes.
give him some skills to be a grown man in the world, right?
Yes.
Maybe even gave him some dad advice whenever he had his kid and how to take care of his kid, I bet. Is that right?
Yep.
Have you been keeping up with the testimony in this case?
Not all of it.
Not all of it.
No, when I found out I wasn't supposed to watch it, I quit watching it.
I think the judge appreciates that. But when we first talked to you in this case, you didn't really know what Tanner had actually done, did you?
No.
You know now, don't you?
Yes.
Now, I just want to be clear about a couple of things here. Who's responsible for putting us here today where we are today?
I'm sorry, what?
Who's responsible for putting us here for where we are today?
Tanner.
Not his stress of being in work or anything like that. That's not responsible for why we're here today. is it?
No.
Not the fact that he had Asperger's. That's not putting us here today, is it?
You want me to answer that?
Yes.
I think his problems had something to do with it.
He knows right from wrong, though, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He knows not to kill,
Yes, he knows that.
knows not to sexually assault a child.
Yeah. Totally shocked. I couldn't believe it myself. And it doesn't sound like him.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and I want to make clear about this. On the day after the offense, you communicated with him and sent him pictures of Athena, did you not?
I took the picture because it was on the TV. And I called him and said, Tanner, I know you're working out in paradise. Please look out for this little girl. She's missing.
This was after he'd already killed her and after he already dumped her.
Well, I didn't know that.
Well, you know now that was what
Yeah.
happened. And what was his response to you when you informed him about this little girl missing and you sent him a picture? What was his response?
He's like, okay, I'll look out for her. It was kind of a generic answer. But he didn't dwell on it.
What did you want?
Huh?
What was your last part?
He didn't dwell on it.
He didn't say he did it, did
Oh, no.
he? He didn't admit anything, he did.
No.
That's
I would have called you.
That's a witness.
Redirect.
Jackie, you know what happened in this case now? Are you angry with your grandson?
Yes, I am.
Even though you're angry with him, and do you still love him?
Well, sure, I still love him. I'm very angry, and I'm still working through this. But I still love him.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Staten.
Nothing further.
Okay, we're done for the day. And I will see y'all Monday morning, okay? Enjoy your weekend. Stay dry.